I think this is my 28th video featuring a Viltrox product on the channel. I think maybe going back to 2018. So, you know, it's been an interesting ride. But here we are testing out the Viltrox 9mm. I love an ultra wide. Many of you have been asking me about this lens. So when I saw a mega deal on it, I thought I'm going to buy my own. I don't get freebies from Viltrox. So here we are, having a bit of fun with the lens, testing it on the XE5, seeing how the autofocus is, as you know we like to do in the introduction. What about that? Standard AFC mode. Yeah. Time to get an honest review online. There are others, of course, but most these days are just advertisements, frankly. Here, we've bought our own and we're going to see what the crack is. So yeah, let's, oh, we can get rather close. I love that. Let's crack on. Warranty card and electronic instruction manual. Baggy, always a welcome sight. Well done, Viltrox. Quality control and silica gel, which I know you love to see, but we're going to get to the point today for once. So nice little clip-on hood there, snap cap there, 58mm filter thread, 13cm close focusing, as you'd have seen in the intro. No weather sealing, USB-C for firmware updates, 17 diaphragm blades, 13 elements, 11 groups, fat manual, focus ring, nothing else, no switches, no aperture ring, of course. So it's a full frame equivalent of 13.5mm, 113.8 degree angle of view. That's how we got so much in the shot in the intro. Yeah, STM motor, as we also mentioned, as we tested out a little bit already. Maximum magnification ratio 0.15 times. Yeah, only weighs 175 grams. That's all we need to say. It is an air lens and should stand up the test of time, as I don't abuse my gear. Yeah, your mileage may vary, so let us know, especially if you've had your hands on this for a while. Build quality and handling. We'll give it a good play and then we'll talk a bit more about it after some proper, thorough use. 1100 test shots later, how do I feel about the build and the handling? Well, overall, it's a positive experience, albeit a very simple experience. You know, the lack of aperturing, it's not a huge problem for me, but as I said elsewhere, it's time. It's time to get aperture rings across the price range now. Also, the lack of weather sealing, it's generally fine for me, but I know it's a very welcome feature for some. Autofocus, not an issue on my E5. It's fast enough, it's accurate, it's pretty quiet. As you probably noticed in the intro, it's not bad for video shooting, but check out my Zenico video to see an example where it wasn't so super sure. But overall, very good for its intended purpose. Sharpness in the center is really very good, wide open, but there's a noticeable drop off in the corners and you'll need to stop the lens down to around 5, 6, 8 to see the very best edge to edge performance. Color rendering quite good and contrast very good overall. Again, stopping down to 5, 6, f8 to get the best across the frame. Chromatic aberration is a non-issue and color fringing is practically negligible. Now there is noticeable barrel distortion, so you'll need to correct in post if you're shooting raw, and as there are no proper profiles at the point of recording, you could try something like the Sony DT11-18 lens correction profile in Capture One or the Viltrox 23mm f 1.4 if you're a Lightroom user, and then see how you get on. Let us know. In fact, there is heavy vignetting when shooting wide open at f2.8 and stopping down doesn't completely eliminate it. Ghosting, flare, pretty average. The lens is quite sensitive to flaring, although it could prove to be quite fun. Wide open, the lens also suffers from mild coma aberration in the corners. Bokeh is nervous. Specular highlights can be a bit rough, but close-up shooting is pretty fun. I'm really happy with that. It might not sound like it, but I'm impressed with this lens. Yes, it's not perfect, but I do really appreciate the image quality, even with those flaws. The lens retails for £197 at the point of recording, which I'm gonna say is a good price, but I got it for £113 more or less on AliExpress of all places, which frankly was a massive bargain, and I'm very happy with my purchase. The nearest equivalent is arguably the 8mm 3.5 from Fujifilm that we used a lot before. It is a lot more expensive though, and only really wins if you need that extra width. Price-wise, you could argue that the 7 Artisans 10mm f2.8 is worth comparing, but I haven't had enough time with that lens to comment. The internet says this is sharper, and I like the extra width from this one. There's room for improvement when it comes to flare control, corner performance, weather resistance, and an aperturing, but as a sub 200 lens, and even less if you catch a deal, it's well worth the hype. What do you think? Let us know in the comments, and I'll see you there. And if Viltrox are watching, well done.